Guilty balls.
I might have beat you
Perfect.
that time.
Perfect.
Always perfect. I went a little lower, a little more bass today.
Nice. I did not get the memo beforehand.
Darn it, darn it. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Kilted Balls podcast. So nice to see you all here again. Ballbuster and
Kilted Dragon Jer.
nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Heck
We're
yeah.
drinking a little, what is this? Dr. Pepper cream soda tonight. I'm not sure
Excellent.
what I feel about it. Added some of my whiskey from Sanctuary Spirits, and the more I drink, the better it gets. I find that a lot with whiskey.
That works out well.
Mhm.
I have a Sycamore, and it was the blonde pumpkin ale.
Ooh,
So
good.
I do like, yeah, it's very good.
So you're getting into the fall spirit, huh?
Yeah, I like the fall beers because the pumpkin I do like, but they tend to start adding chocolates and coffees in them. So yeah. But I happened to catch that one, and it's one that I had last year, so I grabbed a little 4-pack.
Nice. I like it. I like it. Interesting side note, two interesting side notes. First off, one of our longtime listeners messaged me that they were listening, and I was like, yay! They're out walking their dog, and it made me happy. And I was like, that's funny because I think we talked about them in our last episode, running the marathon and all that coolness. So that was nice. The other thing that was interesting is I don't know how it came up, but I think we're sitting around the dinner table talking or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And my oldest was sitting there, and she asked me a question, and I don't remember what it was, but I was like, did you listen to my podcast? And she's like, maybe. And I'm like, that sounds like a question
awesome.
from my podcast.
That's awesome.
I know. I'm like, I must be on your rotation. She's like, shut up. She goes, I almost turned it off when you started talking about boobs. I'm like, when did I talk about boobs? I go, not that I wouldn't talk about boobs, but I was like, did I talk about that? You won't see boobs with hamburgers and she's like, no, when Tristan walked by and you were like, ooh, I almost saw some boobs. And it was Tristan. I'm like, oh my gosh. I go, how could that be the one thing that offended you out of all the things I said? I'm like, that's just silliness. Just silliness. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
Well, welcome.
I know.
I didn't realize she was one of our listeners.
Yay to more listeners. Woo! Mm-hmm. Thanks, listeners. We love you.
Yeah. So one thing that I thought about this morning that was pretty profound, I wasn't sure if we get to it or not, but you didn't have anything to start with.
Yeah, go, baby, go.
I think skipping is underrated, especially if you're naked.
Okay, you had me. Hello. you lost me at skipping.
Random thoughts that pop into my head.
I was thinking, I'm like, I like skipping. I agree. It's a little underrated. And then you said the naked, and I'm like, nope.
Have you ever skipped naked?
I'm trying to think. Maybe I'll go out in the backyard and
try sometime. Well, really, because I have that race this week.
Good luck.
Saturday, thank you.
Nice.
And I didn't run at all last week, which seems like a bad idea. So yesterday it was a little difficult, my run. And so I was like, I wonder when I start, because I don't get tired, but sometimes your legs get a little sore and you're breathing heavy.
Yes.
I wonder if I skipped for a little bit, how that would be during my 5K.
Yeah.
And that's, I was naked when I was thinking about it. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have to bring this up on the episode if we have a chance.
So you haven't skipped naked, or you have?
I have skipped naked before, yes.
And how was that?
It's pretty amazing. It's as great as you think it would be.
Yeah, I was thinking it would not be great.
Oh, see?
But you know what? I think there's two differences, right? One, I don't have a micro penis, and two, I have huge testicles because I'm such a man. So those two things would make it harder for me than it would for you, I imagine.
I mean, I don't know if you would be able to skip.
Knock my ass out.
But you should try it.
I should try and see, right? I come next podcast with 2 black eyes. And everybody's like, what the hell just happened?
Well, that's because you're getting old. That's why your stocks are longer.
Right. Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm
further.
like that old guy on the beach stuck to a beach chair because it fell through the slats.
Yeah, that's no good.
Dang it, that's the worst. What about if you were like a well-endowed female?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never been a female,
I thought
so
maybe you
I'll have
were,
to
but
ask around.
any of our female listeners,
Do they enjoy skipping?
do you enjoy A, skipping, and do you enjoy B, skipping naked? And like, what's that experience like? I think it might be uncomfortable the more endowed you are.
Possibly.
I'm not
Possibly.
positive. I'm not positive.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe tonight I go out skipping in the snow. I don't know.
Is it snowing up there already?
No. But that's what I was visualizing. So that's what I visualized.
And then you do a snow angel face down.
Yeah. Those are the best
Then
kind of
you'd be
snow
able to
angels
skip
with the
all over the
tail.
world.
If you make a snow angel with a tail, you're doing it right.
So today, on a serious note,
Ooh.
I got to watch / listen to Gary Vee live twice today.
Wow.
But there was a super cool announcement for any of the collectible people out there. If you did not hear about it, teamed up with Mattel, which he did before with Uno. It went very well. So they teamed up again. They are releasing a Skeletor, and he's never had this body, I guess. I guess it's the body from the comics or something. It's the body's never been released, and it has Skillful Skeleton with him. So it's a dual pack. He's not a bobblehead, but he's got the big V2 looking. He's got his little mask kind of thing on, and he's a glow in the dark. It looks
so did you order
awesome. October 6th at noon Eastern, I believe, is when they're released on Mattel's site. They looked really cool, and the idea, like on the box, it has Skeletor and Skilled Skeleton like do a little heart, and it comes with a comic with them in it, and it goes through like how they met and everything.
So I kind of like what Mattel's been doing. They did the collaboration. Sorry, people. They did a collaboration with Boss Beauties that I really enjoyed, and they've done a few others that I've either got or looked at getting. So
yeah, they've been doing some cool collaborations. So that was awesome. And then Tea with Gary Vee was on again today, starting back up. So, but one thing that was super interesting it made me stop and think, because people talk, there's a lot of business questions on there, which I love. And then someone was talking about, when to hire people, when to do this, when to do that, when to, put out some of the different things. And Gary was talking about, like, a lot of people, they don't like being in the dirt. They don't like doing the stuff. And they don't fall in love with that. And I thought to myself, like that was the stuff that I loved. Like, as long as it wasn't 1,000 degrees out, like loading the trucks, unloading, setting up, like seeing the customers. Obviously, I loved that. I loved the shows, but all of that's been cut. So, I mean, I've talked about it on here. I am kind of just going through the motions on there, and it was just interesting to hear, like, from the side angle, like all the stuff I loved was the kind of dirt stuff, and now I don't have that. So it's just like, I think I need to like almost like do a little soul searching and just to find out, like, to bring a little bit more excitement into what I'm doing with that.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think I said something to Amy once. I think I said something on here once, like, I would totally be down to do like a joint thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not doing like every freaking weekend shows all the time, right? But I'm like, if we found a fun product that was like cool, and like, you can store it at the warehouse and then you ship me what I need at different events, like, that'd be a good time.
Yeah.
Right. Not necessarily ship, like, you know what I mean, right? But I'm like, that'd be fun. Like, if we could hit up some cool events with a cool project, like a smoker for whiskey.
Heck yeah. We need to go through our stuff. We have like all the information we gathered in like 3 bags.
Yeah.
from that. We haven't even touched it because we've just been trying to, do everything with the
Well, and again,
warehouse.
and I don't think you or we don't want to do that like as a full-time gig like you did
Hmm.
10 years ago, right?
Hmm.
It's more like, hey, these are the parts I love. I want to do those once in a while so I can rehab the part that I love,
Yeah.
right?
And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like if it was a terrible show, I mean, of course I didn't love it as much. I was
Mm-hmm.
doing it for something, but in the moment, like, yes, I really do enjoy. I enjoyed seeing the customers and talking to them and hanging
Yes,
out and all of that stuff. So it was just really cool to kind of think back about that. Like, okay, like I don't have dirt anymore. Like the company has grown to a certain point where, like, what I would consider, I guess there's still basic things that I do, obviously, but just
for
not
sure.
not as fun. But yeah, it was really cool to, obviously I'm a fan of his, so to be able to hear two different things. But he was with the Masters of the Universe. He was so excited, like opening the box and everything.
I'm excited. Like it was funny because some like yearbook people came by today and they're like, hey, can we interview you and talk to you? I'm like, sure. And they're like, what did you want to be when you grew up when you were like 5? I'm like, I don't understand the question. And they're like, well, like, what career did you want or this? I go, no, 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 no. I'm like, I understand the words coming out of your mouth. I'm like, I don't understand the concept of wanting to do something and not doing it. I go, that's not how my brain is programmed. I go, that's not like how I work. And they're like, oh, well, what did you go to college for? And I go, oh, chemical engineering. I'm like, that's
Mhm.
easy. I thought that's what I wanted. And they're like, oh, they're like, yeah, we've been asking people, lots of firefighters, lots of like ballerinas. And I was like, oh, and I'm like, you know what I cared about when I was like a kid in elementary school? They're like, what? And I'm like, He-Man. I go, what? I go, I didn't care about being a firefighter or a doctor. I'm like, I cared about being He-Man. Are you
Yeah, I
kidding
want to
me?
be He-Man's sidekick.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I go, see, people had small dreams, right? Like, I want to be
Mhm.
a policeman. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be this. Are you kidding me? I want to be freaking Superman. When I
Mhm.
was 5, it was Popeye. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's all we had.
I wanted to be like those heroes.
Hmm.
I get some people wanted to be like firemen or all of that, but like I'm like
Hmm.
that's my brain never. I guess I never thought small. I don't know
Yeah,
why, right? Like that was never
yeah,
a thing for me. Like I didn't like nobody told me to think that way.
yeah.
But I watch my little boy growing up right now, and he goes big all the time, right?
That's awesome.
All the
Actually,
time.
it's funny. One of the early going like talking about when we're young, I can remember it would have been like second grade, because just from where we lived.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a book in the mail, and it was like these posters, blah blah blah. And if you bought so many of them, you got a discounted price. And I can remember thinking like, oh my gosh, if I could get the 10 pack and then I could sell them and then make a quarter on each one. And this is like none of that was part of anything like when I was
No,
a kid. Like even my mom didn't start in business till I was a little bit older,
right.
but that wasn't, it wasn't talked about.
I
I
was
would
sitting
love
here
to.
thinking,
I would love to. I
I'm
would
like,
love to
oh, we're
know. I
going
would love
there.
to know margins and things like that. But it was never anything that As I got older, I just never asked. No, I don't never know.
Well, right. And one of the things I've learned now in my old age is like, I often think, did I have any experience with that kind of stuff? And I'm always like, no, 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 that's not what we did. And then I remember we were freaking farmers.
Hmm.
And you might be sitting there going, oh, yeah, so that's why you didn't do that. No, it's the opposite. Like, that's all farmers do, right? Like, we took hay to auction, we took steers to auction, we sold
Yeah.
rabbits, we sold dogs. Like, everything was a selling thing, right? Like I still
Hmm.
remember my dad being pissed that we got a horse because he was like, how's that going to earn us money? Like, and I didn't even think about it because it was money or food, right? And he was like, oh, we're not going to eat a horse. This is stupid. And now that I'm grown up, I'm like, oh, I bet
Hmm.
that's where I got that from because
Yeah.
as a farmer, you were selling everything all the time. and you were buying stuff all the time to sell stuff all the time. Like that was the normal flow of business. And they probably didn't know that they were teaching me that. But that's just like how I was alive. And, and it wasn't money, people. That's an important side note. Farmers barter all the time. Yeah. And that's how farmers exist. So there's money as well, but they also exist on a pure bartering system.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting as well. But so I'm like, that's the environment you grew up in. And so that kind of just became the thing. And they probably didn't know they were creating a person like me. It just happened to be a person like me.
Yeah.
But just the way it is, kind of.
Yeah. That's how we turn out like we do.
Yeah. Turn out crazy. Turn out crazy. Yeah, so that's fun. Speaking about Gary Vee, I don't think I shared this with you because I didn't want to like do FUD. But man, I saw a few different Twitter feeds that were just shredding Gary Vee.
Oh, really?
Well, I think I sent you the one about Stoner Cats. Stoner Cats settled out of court for a ton of money. I kind of want to go back and listen to some of our Stoner Cat episodes. So a lot of you might remember early on, maybe 10, 20 episodes in, we were big on Stoner Cats. You bought some. Do you still have a Stoner Cat?
I never bought any Stoner Cats.
Oh, well, and I didn't either. Like I missed it and I kept wanting to go back. We were like in the main first group of people who supported them. And we were all excited.
Oh, okay, wait a second. So just to pause here.
You did buy Stoner Cats, didn't you?
When you said Stoner Cats, I'm picturing Gutter Cats because Cool Cats and Gutter Cats, and every time you said Stoner Cats, I thought I'm picturing Gutter Cats. So Stoner Cats settled.
Yeah. So basically, because they traded
information to me.
They traded as a. They told people, this was like an investment.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember that very well. Like I'm like, they never said it was an investment. They said we're doing this to fund our animation.
Yes. So that was considered an investment.
But apparently they thought it was investment, which means it was unlicensed, unregistered.
Yeah.
And so they said, people were buying this specifically to trade them for money because of you people doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think they settled out of court or something. I don't remember if they were
that's how Gary was brought into it.
And then somebody else was like, Gary's going to be next. He's the biggest con artist in the business. And I'm like, oh man. And now I'm like, you're going to be, I understand what they're saying, but I'm like, you're going to be hard pressed to do that because I didn't listen to all the episodes, and I do know that Gary said multiple times, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to want to be part of this. It's Mickey Mouse. You're going to want this. But he also had tangibles that were part of it.
Yes.
Like the gift goats, you bought a gift goat knowing you were going to get gifts. You bought V-Friends knowing you were going to get tickets to VCons. There were tangibles, and he followed through on those tangibles. So I don't think you can then come back and be like, listen, you said this was an investment and I lost money, because he said these are tickets. It's going to be worth your while to go, and you bought it for the tickets, and then you started selling on your own.
Yeah.
And
he was like, it's going to be worth to hold this in 20 years because of the IP.
Yes. And he said like 20 years. He didn't say tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I agree with them. I think Gary is different from something like Stoner Cats. Right. Now, I don't think Stoner Cats very well promised that either. I think other people have. Right. Yes. I think other people have, and they've been totally wrong. So
yeah. Yeah, I think even when we talked about this before, I was picturing Gutter Cats.
Yeah. No. Stoner Cats like Ashton. And what's her name?
Well, I do know it was a big thing that Kevin Rose from his Moonbirds took away the free license thing, and price went down. The price of everything's gone down, but people are blaming it on that. but I guess he stepped away from the company. A lot of people are upset, like Moonbirds isn't the thing. I don't know the whole story,
Yeah.
but yeah, it seems kind of wild, like all of that, just from listening to like a lot of his episodes early on. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if that's why, because things changed and his concern with it. So he's like, I kind of got to step away from this.
Well, and the reason why I wanted to just like chat about this for a minute, because I know a lot of our listeners think, NFTs, Gary Vee is a little boring, but we get a lot of inspiration from Gary Vee. But the other thing is we had a buddy who might listen or might not. Hey, buddy, who was like, we were sending an article showing how crypto was actually really good for sustainability, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about it, and you went through these research studies, it was showing that crypto is not as bad environmentally as people tried to make it out to be, which, there's a lot of propaganda when you're trying to take over the world finance system. But anyway, we posted that, and he sent back something about how NFTs are dead, which is kind of our world. So, he didn't have to send that to us. But we both got the impression that he was trying to poke at us by saying NFTs are dead. And I talked to Kilt about this. I want to go back through our episodes and see how many times we said NFTs are worthless.
Like, be super careful.
Right. Like, be careful. 99.9 will go to zero, which means you need to consider that they're all going to zero. And I remember because Kilted would often say, I believe in Gary Vee. I don't think his will go to zero, but I'm prepared if they do go to zero, which is one of the things why I'm like, somebody like Stoner Cats shouldn't have be held liable, because everybody is saying they're going to go to zero, or maybe not everybody. We were at the top of the market. So I'm like, we could go back through our NFT episodes, and I'm sure we probably said it, 2 or 3 times an episode. This stuff is going to zero. This stuff is going to zero. Only use money that you can throw away. It's going to zero. So now people are like, oh, the NFTs are worthless. I'm like, we said that would happen. And worthless is a little bit arbitrary, because I think a Bored Ape just sold, what did I tell you the other day, for 100 ETH?
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at it, and a person had bought one of the gold ones for 100 ETH, which, to put into your brains, 100 ETH at $1,600 per ETH is substantial for a JPEG.
Yes.
So I don't know if I would call that worthless. Yes. Is it less than 200 ETH? Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And when ETH was 4,000, yep.
But I wouldn't call that worthless. That's like me saying, when there's a down market, oh, my house is worthless now. It's not worthless. It's just worth less, not worth less.
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking about that.
No. Yeah, and that's a good point for anyone who cares, and anyone, there's a lot of people who are not, just, it's hard in the bear market. If anyone, any of our listeners out there are still involved, congrats. I mean, same with, I bought something today. I was just looking through my wallet, and I saw that the Creature World crowd was like super low, like 0.08, which is like $3. And I found one that was under 5,000. I think there's 30,000 of them. There was a ton of them made.
Yeah.
But so I was like, you know what, for $5 with gas, I'm getting this one. It's fun, and just to have it, because that's one, like, when I have my digital frame on the wall, that's one that I would love to see pop up, because I do really like Creature World. Danny Cole is a super cool guy, from my experience talking with him, and which is limited. We probably talked 20 minutes over 2 years, but he just seems like a really cool guy, and I like his stuff.
That just made me think of the fact, did you ever get your artwork that you bought? We talked about it at VCon, and then we never talked about it again.
I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I reached back. Well, he had said, oh, things are bit, and he's doing stuff. But my issue is that he's like, I'm moving. I need to sell this stuff.
Yes.
I was like, okay, this is great. Like, I'll do it. I would love to have some of your artwork.
Yes.
So we're going on 2 years now.
Yes.
And I mean, with a name like Sloth, you don't expect fast movement. It seems a little extreme. And actually, he hasn't read my last message, which I sent like a month ago, which is slightly irritating. But I'm rolling up on the tweets. He did a cornhole board.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I love the boards. I can't wait to get my artwork from you. And there was another one. Like he said, he was talking about his art. He was doing a piece. And I'm like, love your artwork. I can't wait to get my stuff. So, like, I don't know if I need to just call him out. Like make, not a lot of people see my post, but like, do I tag him and be like, hey, listen, like, put it out there. Like, what's going on? Like the last time I wrote, I just said, because I wrote him once and he didn't, I don't think he replied back, but the last time I wrote him, I was like, hey, I'm moving. I would love to have your artwork. I would love to have my piece before I move so I can put it in a great spot.
Yeah.
Like that's how I said it. But the time before that, I said, hey, if you don't want to send it, just send me my 2 ETH back.
Right.
Like, here's my address. So yeah, I don't know what to do. I guess I just need to think about it like it's something else, like it's nothing, but I'm not just going to give up on it. And especially like he seemed like a cool guy. Like I talked to him for a while. I probably talked to him for 20 minutes.
Well, and that's the thing is he seems
morning.
Cool. So you think he would, it's not like he doesn't have the picture.
Yes. And I understand he's busy. I'm sure he's super busy. He's painting big murals. He's doing all sorts of things.
Yeah,
I follow his Twitter, Arizona. So, yeah.
Well, maybe you need to just tweet at him and just say, hey, I'm looking for a timeline on that picture I ordered.
Yeah.
Tried to message you. You didn't message back. So
rather than on message, something that's
something that's public and seen, and maybe even throw the picture on there of the picture.
He never said what it was going to be. So at this point, he could send me anything. I'd have no idea.
Right.
Honestly.
Yes.
He could just be like, okay, whatever, like pick something off the floor and send it. But he did say it was stretched and it was framed and it's going to be huge if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Let me look back real quick. This is great radio.
So Sloth, if you are listening to this, if we are on your rotation,
listening, I would love to have it. I think you're a super cool dude and I love your artwork.
Yeah. So send Kilted Ball the picture. I mean, for listeners, if you haven't been following the saga, Kilted spent quite a bit of money on this picture 2 years ago.
Yeah. Because he's like, hey, sorry, blah, blah, blah.
And you've got all the messages from this, right?
I have all the messages. So I sent the money. On June 15th. I guess it hasn't been quite 2 years. Year and a half.
A year and a half. Well, we're getting to the point.
He's like, oh, I didn't get your address, and I sent him my address. Blah blah blah. So,
well, maybe we need to take a trip down to Arizona. Maybe have a chat with him.
Oh, and on the August 6th of 2022, I'll have shipping info. I'll have the shipping info for you by UPS next week. Just got back into town, and then I wrote September, October. No, 3 months later, I was like, hey. I didn't get the shipping info. Here's my address again.
Oh, my word. This is crazy. So people be careful. And if you're wondering, yes, this is all constitutes as a binding agreement. And yes, he can be taken to court over this. So
yeah,
I don't think anybody wants that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's why you always put stuff in writing, my friends. So you can be like, yeah, this guy was supposed to bring this. So silliness. Well, hopefully he comes through.
Yeah, I'm excited. His artwork's super cool. And actually, it's funny because Oliver wanted to put a new screensaver on the iPad, and he was looking through the NFTs, and he picked my I Am Sloth NFT, which is a fun one.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
that's the It's the screen. It's the screen. This is a back screenshot of the iPad.
Nice, nice. Well, that's all well and good. Hopefully, everything's been going well. You know what I did think about the other day? We have
What's
not
that?
been writing enough in our book.
I was actually thinking that I was actually looking at the book,
Oh,
making sure you're not writing and I'm not noticing.
I might have written and you didn't notice. It might be inside
If
another
you
one.
did, it didn't add any pages.
Well, because I was trying to keep it hidden.
Oh, I see. I see. Not uploading it.
But I did almost write a couple times. And then I started doing taxes. Taxes aren't fun when you're dealing with crypto. So I'm totally messing mine all up for sure. So that's exciting.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's not a great time. Not a great time. But yeah, it's fun.
Oh, so here's a quick. We have some. Not too late for personal growth. A little story.
Yeah, give us a story.
So we went to Scarowinds, and one of our good friend and listener was there with us. And we were doing all these different things and rode some rides. And one of the rides was real long. So Carowinds is the amusement park here, and Scarowinds is the Halloween version of it, and it's at night. So he was getting a little impatient, like really wanted to get there, like, okay, let's go, trying to rush us, and Gina's taking pictures of everything, so it's slowing things down. And then so all the kids hop up and they're getting a picture done, and this couple comes up and asks him, hey, can you take our picture for us? So he's super nice guy, of course, and he's like, sure. So like we're all done and we start to walk off, and he's back taking the picture. And he's like, yep, I think I'm being talked to right now. I was like, see? I was like, the universe comes around in so many different ways.
It'll let you know.
Just enjoy the ride.
Just be chill. Just be chill. Yep.
I thought it was hilarious.
I was actually thinking about that today. I'm like, when do you be chill and when do you not be chill? Because one of my daughters is super chill, and I'm always like, you might need a little less chill. Like, you might want to get after it a little bit.
It's something that I run into, like being a little too laid back in some situations.
Yeah. And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's not good. It's easier when we're old, right? So at this age, look at all this gray. Like, it's an easier task here to be chill, right? When you're 19 and you don't have a full frontal cortex yet, hard to be chill. So,
but when you are, sometimes it's not great.
Yeah, and sometimes you're like too chill. So then you got the opposite. So I think at that age, like, you got to find that medium, which is super hard to find. Which is probably why that group has lots of anxiety and depression and all the other fun stuff, right? Because they can't find that easy point of chill. Whereas we're just chill all the time because we've experienced it all, right? We know how life is going to kind of work.
Yeah.
A little, not
a little. Yeah. I was like, let's not
stretch it, right? Don't take it too far, people. Not too far. Well, anyway, I think I'm feeling good, people. I enjoyed talking to y'all. Enjoyed talking with you, Kilted. I hope everybody's having a great fall. Fall is now here.
Yeah.
Right. So that's exciting. And we'll be back here in another week. So this is Ballbuster.
Oh, wait.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. I don't mean to interrupt, but the skip challenge is officially a thing. I don't know if we need to TikTok it or whatever, but yeah, skip.
The next time I YouTube mini, I'm gonna be skipping in my YouTube mini, and people are gonna get sick watching it. Not because I'm naked, but because watching somebody skip on camera is atrocious.
It's terrible.
So please tag us if you do the skip challenge. Tag us twice if you're naked doing the skip challenge. Not you, Jason. Ain't nobody want to see that. No, ain't nobody got time for that, Jason. All right. Well, this is Ballbuster signing off.
That's a Dragon Jared. Love you all.